Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube NFL segment. I'm going to be giving you my recap of 2019 Week 5 NFL game, which pitted the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Jets. The Philadelphia Eagles won, of course, 31-6. You didn't really have to be much of a medium or prophet to predict the Eagles were going to win. And even with my picks right now, have not exactly been stellar. And even me being a New York Jets fan, I picked the Eagles to win this one. They won in a landslide. They plastered the Jets. The Jets don't, the Jets remind me right now, sadly, and I hate to say this being a New York Jets fan, like a dilapidated building that just keeps falling apart, and one piece after another keeps falling apart, whether they're ravaged with injuries or what have you, or they just can't really do. They have not been able to find much continuity or cohesion or chemistry on the offensive end whatsoever. In this game today, again, which they did lose 31-6, they had a grand total of 9 first downs, 128 total offensive yards. They were sacked 10 times. The offensive line right now is got to be one of the worst in the NFL. What is going on with these exorbitant sack numbers that we're seeing in certain games this season? The Titans were sacked 9 times in a game, and the Jets were sacked 10 times in this one. They right now, it's at a point where the Jets, you know, they are a team right now. Whatever the opposite is of a team to be reckoned with, they are deplorable. The Eagles, on the other hand, had much more synchronicity on offense. They did get 31 points on the board. I think one of the touchdowns may have been on the defensive end on an interception return. You may want to check on that for the Eagles, but nonetheless, they had a good all-around balanced game. You put up 31 points, you give up 6 points. You're obviously very balanced. The Eagles, in contrast to the Jets, obviously had much more first downs than they did. The Jets had 1.7 yards per pass in this game. The Eagles had 6 yards per pass in this game. That pretty much, it kind of sums up the difference in this particular game. The Eagles much more sustained drives. The Jets couldn't in this game, sadly. And the Jets are 2-8 on the road since 2-8 on the road since last season. But it doesn't really matter with the Jets whether they're on a neutral side, a home side, or whether they're on the road. They just cannot really do much. They're down, I believe, their third string quarterback. Whether they're ravaged with injuries or whatever the problem is, the general chemistry in the team, it's just not good right now. They don't have any continuity whatsoever. Now, I don't believe, at least I wouldn't want to believe, the Jets are tanking right now. I think they just don't have the team, the proponents, to get the job done. I do believe they're trying, but they just don't have anyone, sadly, to get things going for them. And this game pretty much epitomized their season, sadly, when they lost 31-6. They are only averaging, I believe, around 10 points per game, and they're one of the worst scoring teams in the NFL offenses. And really, I hate to say it, they got to be one of the 2 or 3 worst teams overall. Even the Arizona Cardinals got off the snide today, and they defeated the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jets can't even they can't generate any offense. Them and the Miami Dolphins are about the 2 worst teams, I believe, in the NFL right now. And yes, my Jets, when I talk about my Jets, hey, I have to be unbiased. I have to be objective, and their performance was putrid, sadly. They just could not get out of their own way if their life depended on it in this particular game. And I don't even know Sam Darnold's, when he does return eventually, is that really going to make that much difference in this game when you're inept in almost every other way on as far as your team goes? And this is just a team that only managed like 67 rushing yards. Running back Le'Veon Bell, a lot of people thought he was going to be maybe the savior of the team, and I was one of them. I thought he was going to make the Jets a little bit more competitive, but sadly it hasn't panned out that way. The Eagles did manage 265 total yards in this game, 6 yards per pass play, and they had 17 first downs, in contrast to the New York Jets, 9 first downs. Jets, again, they were sacked 10 times in this particular game, and And really, I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know what it is up with these exorbitant sack numbers in some of these individual games this season. The Titans were sacked 9 times in another game. Is this a reflection of very poor offensive lines in the NFL? I guess it very well could be. But the Jets' offensive line obviously needs some kind of revamping or retooling. It's obviously gonna be a very long season for them. I feel bad for myself and for the other Jet fans out there, because Jets fans have to suffer through another abysmal season, sadly. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL segment for my recap of the 2019 Week 5 NFL matchup between the Jets and the Eagles. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.